Welcome back to Timberborn. I've been playing a ton of this game between sessions of my stream. Right here you can see that I've actually unlocked and started messing with the Iron Teeth, which are a completely different faction from the guys that we were playing in the previous stream. You can see this is also a different map. This is the Canyon map, where I've set up a dam with beautiful floodgates here, so I can like slowly release water during the drought season to keep this river flowing and keep all of these farms growing. This is such a fun game. But you got no context for this community, so I'm going to load a different community. I'm going to go back to the community that we just brought back from the brink during our last stream. Hey there, Director Cosmic Pick. Thanks for joining my chat. Just going to be showing some Timberborn. So the last time I streamed this, I did 2 sessions. In the first session, I got all of my beavers killed except for 3. I had 1 adult and 2 children. My second session, I spent getting them back from the brink. And so now we're back to 19 beavers, 19 adult beavers, and we were just getting started with the next phase of our little beaver town's development. So you can see here, I've started building some more like beaver apartments. I already have room for 25 in the housing, so we can like have 6 more children. But there's even several houses we haven't built yet. So this town is about to start growing. Unlike with the Iron Teeth, I don't actually have a lot of control over the rate at which these beavers breed and their population increases. So I know it's going to kind of come in at its own rate. So I'm going to need to figure out how to improve the lives of these beavers as more beavers show up. Oh, okay. So Director Cosmic is what he wanted his name to be, the guy who just joined my chat. Or gal. I actually don't know your gender. And so, but yeah, they apparently mistyped it. I understand. My own name, Dirangatang, is actually, I originally wanted it to be Rangatang, but Rangatang was taken. And Dirangatang is actually really difficult to tell people how to spell. So it's not a very good choice for a Twitch channel, but there you go. Hey there, JW Dillinger. Good to see you. So I know that I'm going to start getting more beavers. I've got plenty of food and water for these beavers, though. Things are going really well here. Once I'm done building these apartments, I'm going to continue building this levee over here, which should help me retain this water so that this pump can keep working even through a drought. And I believe last time I set myself a goal, which was I wanted to get the potato economy up and running. You can see here that when I'm looking at sort of the well-being of my beavers, there's got several different things that, I've got 19 beavers, and this is saying how many of these 19 beavers are satisfied in all these different areas. So nutrition 1 means they're eating berries and carrots. To get them to nutrition 2, I've got to get them eating potatoes. And so what do I have to do with potatoes? Well, potatoes cannot just be eaten raw. Nobody wants to do that. Even if you have beaver teeth, it's just not pleasant to eat a potato raw. So I kind of have too many carrots here. So what I want to do is start growing some potatoes. Again, yeah, we've got so much food stored up. I kind of don't mind if, rather than just expanding the farm and making it physically unmanageable, maybe what I'll do is I'll ask my beavers to sacrifice some of their existing crops so I can turn them into potatoes. So we're going to let the beavers just uproot all of these carrots and waste them, and it's going to be just, horrific. Okay, Director Cosmic is male. I'm going to I'm going to refer to him as Director Cosmic, the dude. Hey there, Malatour. Thanks for joining us. So let's get these beavers moving faster. So because I've prioritized the levee a little bit lower, you can see I've got the lower priority set there. The beavers aren't going to build it until they're done building other things. So they're going to keep working on their little beaver apartments over here. And you can see the potential room for my population is getting higher. I hope I'm not going too high. Because I've got no unemployed beavers, if I want to start adding things to this little town, I'm going to need to have more beavers. So I'm making what I think is a good choice, but actually they're going to build the apartments before they uproot this stuff. I don't like that. Let's priority up the uprooting. Yes, uproot the heck out of all these carrots. Pull them up and throw them in the garbage. Stuff them up your beaver butts, whatever you want to do with them, just don't eat them. These are now garbage carrots. Oh, Mr. Bumblehorse, you are not alone giggling every single time I say beaver. I just tweeted right before this that I was going to do a beaver stream, and then I immediately panicked, like, oh no, what kind of stream do people think this is going to be? Hey there, Senior Sausage. Good to see you. Okay, once the beavers are done uprooting all the carrots, we're going to switch this over into potato mode. Oh, they all got to go home. Well, we're going to get started with potato mode anyway. Okay, everybody socialize. Go home. It looks like... okay, so the way I believe that sort of the day-night cycle, the life cycle of these beavers works. Not life cycle. The diurnal cycle? The circadian cycle of these beavers works is... every night, I think that they all go and get a drink and they get some food. And so at night, you're going to see my food and my water levels drop. And you're going to see them kind of empty out some of the storage. And then they spend the day filling it back up. And right now, I think that I've kind of got them overproducing, at least on the food side, to the point where they end each day with more food than they left. Which can actually be problematic because they can actually start, unless I start being more careful with my storage, they can basically fill up the storage with food to the point where I can't put other things in the storage. So that can actually be a little bit dangerous. So I'm going to try to avoid... one reason I didn't just add potatoes, I replaced carrots with potatoes, was to avoid overproducing food. So I am feeling like the amount of water I have each day is going down. And that's making me a little bit nervous. I don't have any new beavers yet, but... I feel like I should probably place a new water pump right here so that as the beavers eventually plow through all of their workload, they'll add to their water capacity. Why are the builder beavers not uprooting these? Okay, here we go. Thank you. I guess, oh, are the harvesty beavers the ones that are going after these? What's going on? Where are my harvesty beavers? What are they doing? I should have people working in these fields. Where are they going instead? That's very odd. I want to know. Okay, so now they're going to bed, obviously. So you can actually find an individual beaver and watch them wander around, socializing, going to get food, that sort of thing. Is this beaver? Okay, he's gone home. He's sleeping now. Jomudu is sleeping. I want to see what Jomudu does when he wakes up, because I'm feeling like Jomudu is not doing his job. Okay, so he's carrying food. Okay, so he is harvesting. Okay, good. Okay, so what are my builder beavers doing then? Okay, so it looks like my builder beavers are... okay, they're working on this. Can they not... maybe they can't reach these? Are these too far? These are probably too far off the path for the builders to reach them. That makes sense. Okay, well, in that case, maybe I'll just lean into them being carrots and I won't worry about it. And so I think that means I need to cancel my destructive action. Yeah, so that is something... so, right! Yes, that's exactly what was going on. So when I click my district center... I should rename this town. What should I call this name? Brinksville, because I just brought them back from the brink. So yeah, you'll notice when I click this, it's got a radius around it. This is where builders from my town can go. And they can't go any further. So you see that there's these lines being traced along the paths. So a builder will go down these paths, and then they can stray a certain distance from the path. So you can see, because I've got all of this farmland going up here beyond the reach of the builders, that means the builders can't go and make changes to the farmland. So I should probably actually change that. What I should probably do is, like, tear up a strip. Just because it makes me nervous to not have my builders able to reach this place. So I'm going to tear up a strip of carrots. And as the builders annihilate this strip of carrots, I'm going to extend the path so that they can reach this stuff. So yeah, let's kill those two. So yeah, let's grab our path and extend it down. Now the builders can reach the end. I don't know, maybe someday I'll put a bridge across or something like that. I won't waste this path. So Director Cosmic wants to know, how do you get beavers? So it really depends on which faction of beavers you have. This faction, which is called the... Crap, I forgot what this faction's called. Some Haven something, I think. There's some kind of... They're the first beavers you play with. What you do is you just make housing space for them, and then they breed naturally, and they fill up the housing space. The Iron Teeth, who I just unlocked... I showed an Iron Teeth village at the very beginning of this video. They actually have breeding tanks. They grow new beavers in tanks, and you've got a lot more control over their breeding rate. But you have to actually invest resources in it, rather than just having it happen, naturally. So okay, so let's finish up my plans with this path, and let's actually plant those potatoes I wanted. So I'm going to let them grow these potatoes. I'm going to build up a nice little store of potatoes first, and then I'm going to start cooking the potatoes. Once I start cooking the potatoes, we'll see their nutrition rating go up. In the meantime, let's keep an eye. Our water is still going down. Why is that? Oh! I don't have enough beavers running the pumps. That's why not all my pumps are running. So we've got plenty of food, so let's actually... remove beavers from the farms. And how are we doing on wood? We still need to keep chopping wood, so let's not take away our lumberjacks. Actually, if anything, we should probably be adding lumberjacks in new places. So let me quickly grab a lumberjack flag and stick it over here so that we can start cutting down these birch trees. And, we've got... Over here, we're planting a whole bunch of trees, but these trees are going to take a while to grow. This one's only like 59% done, so until we can start lumberjacking over here, we should probably get some lumberjack action going on over here. So let's just say, clear out all these birch trees. These are all yours, beavers. Annihilate them. Okay, it looks like we've got all of our pumps running. Oh, yes, some of our children are aging up. We've got 30 beavers now. Oh, but 22 adult beavers instead of 19. So that means we can also afford to have a lumberjack over here. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're cutting these trees down. We're pumping water at all 3 of these stations. So now we've been seeing our water declining each day. Hopefully what we'll see now is beavers are going to be bringing water over here, more water over here each day than they remove. By drinking them each night. Hopefully. We'd like to see all of this stuff fill up. Okay, so while these beavers are just sort of, working away down here, let's think about some of our long-term plans. So I've started to sort of extend my path up this way, partly because there is this great opportunity right here to dam up this river. So when you're talking about trying to survive drought season, there's 3 different strategies you can adopt. One is just store a ton of water. You just get a bunch of pumps so that during the wet season, when there's just infinite water, you just store a ton of it. And there's actually technologies that you can get, like this irrigation tower, that'll let you keep your fields irrigated even during drought season. Even using stored up water. And so that's one way that you can do it. That gets very labor intensive and very sort of expensive to maintain. And so that's where you start at the beginning of the game. Ooh, they're gathering potatoes. Awesome. That's where you start early on. But we're starting to get a bunch of unemployed beavers too. Let's put them back to work over here. Okay, so yeah, you see the beavers are all drinking at night. So let's see. Okay, so once they all go to bed, some of them hungry for some reason. Once they go to bed, we're at 170 water. Let's watch tomorrow night and see if the water's going up or down each day. Strategy 2. Oh, drought's coming. Strategy 2 is what I'm doing over here. You build dams to hold the river where it is. Basically, in these areas around my pumps, I'm building these dams so that the water, when the drought comes and no new water is coming down the river, we'll keep the water we have and basically try to pump all the water out. Keep pumping the water while it's still here, right where it belongs. That's strategy 2, and that's the second one you probably can afford to do. The third strategy, which we're not doing yet, is to make a reservoir up above, upstream of the town. And basically, you could hold onto the water with some floodgates. And then if you run out of water, because what will usually happen during a drought is you'll keep pumping the water out of the river while it's stagnant, and eventually all the water will soak away or evaporate or get pumped into your pump houses. And it'll go away and it'll be dry. And so you can retain water up here and use a floodgate to deliver new water. The challenge in this area is the best place to put a floodgate is over here. But there's two problems. Number one, if we put a floodgate here, it's going to fill up all of this area, which is great. That's a lot of water to store up. It's awesome. But then it'll come down here. It'll also fill up over here, and it'll flood my entire town. So that's not good. So I need to not just build a floodgate over here. I also need to build a levee over here to stop that water from flooding my entire town. And because not only would it flood the town, it would also send the water this way. So even if I actually tried to build a levee closer to my town, if I built a levee here, all building a dam here would do is divert all of the water this direction and skip my town entirely, and all my crops would die. So that wouldn't be good. So, but the problem is, in order to build all the way over here, you can see, like when we click on this, you can see how far it lets my builders go. This line is starting to get red. Once this line gets deep into the red, it'll stop. And my builders are not going to be able to get over there to build these levees. So I'm going to have to eventually build a satellite colony in order to let my beavers get that far. So let me... I figure I should probably connect that because this will allow my builders to more easily get to the levee. We've got less than a day. I think this levee is not going to be done in time to be useful. So these two pumps are going to stop working. This is going to be my only working pump during the drought. And I don't know how long the drought is going to last. So that's potentially going to be a problem. Okay, so I need to back up here and catch up with the chat. So Mr. Bumblehorse wants me to zoom in and show my beavers. These are my beavers. Aren't they cute? They're so adorable. Just running around like little maniacs. I could slow them down to like normal speed. You just like chase a beaver around. Just chasing beavers around town. It's great. Oh, hey, Director Cosmic, I actually am a huge fan of RimWorld. Director Cosmic is recommending RimWorld. That was actually the first colony sim I got into. So pretty much every other colony sim I play has to somehow compare itself to RimWorld. So this one is not trying to tell stories about characters the way that RimWorld does, but the mechanics of building your colony they're so fascinating. This still gets some definite props from me. Okay, so if we could just get some builder beaver finish that one bit of levee right there, would be able to retain this water. Come on. Somebody build it. Somebody build it. I think they might not be able to reach it until they've built this one, though. It's nighttime. The drought is going to start tomorrow. The water's going to start flowing away, and we're not going to be done with our levee. And I don't know if we have enough water. This might be another massive beaver die-off. I really can't say. Oh, one thing I should definitely do, by the way, this area, this part of the river is going to dry up from me pumping it really quickly, but I can preserve my fields, some of my fields, and also my trees, if I dam this off. So maybe I should, let's have a look at my water management tools here. Okay, so I want to use a floodgate for that, and I've got enough science for that. So yeah, let's unlock the floodgate, and once we're done with the levee, we should build a floodgate right here. All right, the drought has started. It's going to be, looks like a 4-day drought. So for those of you who haven't seen it before, here's the river drying up. It's going to keep drying until it stops here. And it stops here because I've dammed it up here. Unfortunately, I have not successfully dammed it up here. I'm slowing it down, but this water is going to leave because that is not actually a levee. It looks, you're only seeing the ghost of a future levee that I was going to build. Oh, Mr. Bumblehorse wanted to know why the water was green. So the water is green whenever you're in construction mode. Like if I want to say, right here, it makes all the water transparent so that you can see the levels of the ground beneath the water and make plans to like build things under the water. And so, but if you hit escape and get out of one of those tools, the water turns deep blue again. Okay, so I've got a problem, which is that I've got way less water coming in than I want. So let's try to solve this. Because I don't know if this is going to be enough drought to kill my beavers, but I've got 33 beavers now. That is a lot of beavers. So let's get rid of this path, and let's build a second pump here just to make sure we're getting water out of this fast enough. Probably we're going to dry it up either way, so this might not actually be that worthwhile. But this is sort of me panicking a little bit, and just wanting to know I'm doing everything I can to keep my beavers in drink. Oh, yeah. Director Cosmic says, I'm surprised at how fast that went. That, like, how quickly the water dried up. Yeah, this is basically like they basically just cut it off and it just flows down. And you can actually see that speed at which it sort of dried up. That's how fast this water is flowing through most of the time. Okay, so we have finished this levee. So next time we have a drought, we're going to retain water right here. And these pumps will keep moving throughout the drought. But yeah, so anyway, so I'm going to need to start planning what I want to do to place a colony up here and claim this reservoir. I've done it before, but it was the very first time I did a satellite colony, and it was extremely awkward. The main thing I'm going to need if I want to do a successful satellite colony is I'm going to need to make sure that I've unlocked a couple of key technologies, a distribution post and a drop-off point. Together, these cost 500 science. And they're what allow you to move goods from one colony to the other. And so while a colony is brand new, it is not going to be self-sufficient. And so you're going to want the ability to send its stuff. So I'm just waiting until this science thing says 500, and that's when I'll be able to run over here and start planning my real long-term water solution. Because not only could this little satellite colony hold back a lot of water and distribute it down the river to this colony, it could also pump a bunch of water directly out of this reservoir itself, and trade that water downstream to the original colony. So it is a lot of good things you can do up there. Okay, so far my water actually has been going up each turn. So that's a good sign. It means that, like, at least right before the drought, my water capacity was high enough to keep things going. So okay, all the beavers are going to drink now. We've only got only a day and a half left of drought. Good, this is going really well. Okay, so they drink it down to 176 before they all go to bed. Okay, that's about where we were the last time we checked. So it looks like we're actually not going to die of thirst. That's really, really good. Director Cosmic wants to know, how long is this stream going to be? I tend to make streams that are between half an hour and an hour long, like segments that are between half an hour and an hour long that I post as YouTube videos. But I usually string multiples of them together. So I'll usually stream for a few hours at a time. Today's kind of weird, though. Normally I stream actually in the morning, Pacific time, on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I just kind of opportunistically started streaming just now because I just had some free time at home and not a lot of kids around. I do have one kid in the next room who's actually trying to 100% Untitled Goose Game right now, and so there's a small chance he might come in here and ask for my help. We're going to have to cross our fingers and hope that we don't get too badly interrupted. But yeah, so I can't really predict how long I'll be able to stream because at some point there might be a child interruption. This is not my usual time, so things can happen. But yeah, I'm going to try to stream for a couple hours at least if I can. Oh, Director Cosmic says that he used to watch on YouTube. Okay, cool. So you know my deal. Awesome. I do some weird things on this stream in order to support my YouTube videos. Okay, good. We survived the drought, so we should see water coming down here. So yeah, if you want, so I think starting tomorrow I'm gonna start releasing my first Timberborn videos on YouTube. So if you want to catch up with those, feel absolutely free. This will be my third Timberborn video. So I like watching the water cascade down these paths. Woo! Here we go. Okay, so if I did not want to actually build a massive reservoir, there are smaller things I could do. Like I could probably set a colony up here, let the water into here, and build a smaller dam here and sort of try to retain this water, or maybe build a reservoir up here or something like that. The thing that I like about this game is there's so many things you could potentially do. The stuff I'm showing you here is my favorite thing to do in this map, but sometime I'd like to go into this map and just try to do something entirely different from what I usually do. All right, so it looks like my beavers... Okay, I've got a lot of unemployed beavers still, and they are falling behind with the farming. So during the night, let's plan to add another farmhouse. Farmhouse will not fit there. What am I doing? Where's a good place to fit a farmhouse? There, maybe? It's not the best place. Yeah, I mean, that'll... Certainly, it won't. This one can't reach all of the farming, but they can get there. It'll be fine. So let's give them a path. So we'll add some beavers to the farming operation because, I mean, might as well. We've got too many of them. And we're starting to build up a fair number of potatoes. I think our food stores are starting to get steadily lower because the potatoes, they can't eat the potatoes. Potatoes are just piling up in the storage, not going anywhere. So we're going to want to do something about that. Again, we've got enough extra beavers here that can probably place multiples of these. There we go. All right. So let's figure out where we want to place our grill. Our grill is where we're going to be cooking these potatoes. Now we got 108 potatoes. So one thing we're going to want on top of whatever we do is more storage. I could grab an intrinsically larger storage place, but that would cost me 250 science, and I'm trying to get up to 500. So let's just build another one of these regular type storages. That'll give us a little bit of headroom to start collecting some new resources. And then let's figure out where we want to place... Actually, this isn't the best place for storage because I'm eating up arable land. I don't actually like that plan. Let's get rid of that plan. No more that plan. Arable land is very valuable. The green stuff. Green stuff is what you want. So if we're going to place a new storage, maybe where it should go is around here. Yeah, let's do that. So we got plenty of planks right there, so we can build some infrastructure stuff. Let's add our storage there. So basically, I love the way they've set it up. So basically, arable land is one of the most valuable things you have. You create it with water. Water is a very scarce resource. You have to manage carefully. And so building vertically is one of your best tools for managing that resource. So, okay, so we're going to build this storage up on top of this. And we need to make sure that beavers can reach it. What is the best way to make that reachable by beavers? Let's say I kind of want to do this weird. You can, I mean, I like to challenge my beavers AI by making them take the weirdest routes to get to places. So let's connect all of these upper stories by platforms. Build a nice little staircase right there. So basically people from the farms can just carry their stuff all the way up here. We need to actually mark that with a path. And actually, if we wanted to, we don't need to... Well, I'll worry about that later. But the reason we're actually doing this is I wanted to build a... Let's see here. A grill. The grill is what you need in order to build the potatoes. So the question is, do I want to build it right here? Or do I want to go even more vertical with it? I think I want to go even more vertical. So let's build a house underneath it first. Build a house there. I'm sorry. Like, this is totally pointless. There's no reason for me to be doing it this way. But I can't stop myself. So this is what you're going to have to deal with, is me building pointlessly complex things in this game. All right, so we're going to have the grill be right there. Because just having a high smokestack just looks really nice, right? Dan31 asks, are the maps the same or are they randomized? So there's a collection of specific maps, bespoke maps that they've made, because I think it takes some planning to make a map interesting to play in this game, because you got to have like good reservoirs and stuff like that all set up. So the maps are planned, but there's also a map editor. I haven't played with it yet. There's a map editor, so you can make custom maps, and I assume, at least at some point, I don't know if you can do it yet, share custom maps. And so I think that's probably where they're going to get variety. Okay, so you can see this place is not reachable with a path yet because they haven't completed building the path yet. But slowly but surely, they're blasting through all my planks to build this path. All right, so now they can all get to the new storage, and they're all just loading up tons of stuff they didn't have room for into that storage. And once we got the grill, we'll be able to start processing these potatoes. So now, I've got so many farmers. They really are sort of blasting through the fields right now. That's actually tempting me to add more fields. Stealthy Assassin says the verticality of this game is great. Yeah, I've honestly what was it? So Going Medieval was the first game I played. That was a colony sim that had verticality to it. It had some very complex verticality. The thing I like about this game is the fact that I forgot to add a path right up here. Boink. This game makes the verticality really simple to control. Like you don't have to do too much to sort of get completely on top of your vertical landscape that you're working on. It's just very simple and accessible, but there's still a lot of complex problems to solve. Like I've got this particular set of houses that have certain sizes and shapes and entrance levels and stuff like that. Notice, by the way, we completely filled up this storage with carrots instantaneously. So we do need to work towards having some bigger storage. Actually, one thing we can do if we want to get science faster, build another inventor on top of something. Let's absolutely build an inventor on top of something. So we can build them up here. Question is, how do we get there? So to get there, I would need to have another house. I'm recklessly adding houses. This is unnecessary. So, okay, put a house there. We will. So the reason this is reckless is because having too many beavers could starve you, or it could make you very, very thirsty. And I'm kind of being careless with this potential problem. So I am using some arable land for these water storages, which is not the best. Having your water storage near your pumps is great for, having it be quick to get stuff back and forth between the pump and the storage. But that means that the beavers have to walk all the way over here before going home for bed to get drinks. So it might be better to put any additional water storage over here. So since we're kind of filling up our storage and we're adding beavers, I think I'm going to add some storage over here. So we can start, storing up more for the next time we have a drought, and so we don't, start losing it. Okay, so we've added this right here, and so that means we can. So eventually, I can unlock these higher platforms, but they're expensive right now, so I'm not going to do that right this minute. What I'm going to build a staircase right there. And then I'm going to build a higher platform here. Like that. To get up on top of this. And then, let's see, the inventor. What side is his door on? Okay, his door is on that side. That's kind of inconvenient. If the door was on the right, I might actually even be able to put something else. No, I couldn't anyway. Never mind. So yeah, so we'll, you know what? Let's just put him right there. And let's make sure we put a path connecting him to the stairs. There we go. So yeah, I'm just going to keep building this taller and taller for no good reason. Lost Soul 79K, or Kai, Kentucky. I don't know who you are. But yeah, so they're asking about the Ultimate Edition content that was available for people who, purchased the Ultimate Edition of State of Decay 2 on day one. It's kind of one of the more difficult things to get now for a fan of State of Decay 2 because, it was mostly a thing for at the time of release. I don't think the Ultimate Edition is even a thing anymore, really, because the Juggernaut Edition has kind of subsumed it. So, but we have been thinking about a solution for that. So I can't have anything. I don't have anything to promise you right now, but we are thinking about what we can do. So stay tuned. I think we'll have a solution for you before too long. So I think I'm hearing somebody making noises at my door. So real quick, I'm going to go check on that. So just one moment. Yeah, sorry about that. My son is trying to 100% Untitled Goose Game, and he's only 6, and so the word knife is difficult to read when you're only 6. So totally understandable there. Anyway, all right. So my lumberjack over here just killed all these trees. That's fine. We got more potential lumberjacks. So let's place another lumberjack over here, and let's mark all of these trees as cuttable. We are starting to run low on logs. Okay, so I think we completely wiped out the trees that were over here, so we'll just no longer bother to mark them. Similarly, no reason to bother marking this area. Once you've killed enough trees, they don't come back. So I've got this whole area over here marked out as cuttable. And I should actually mark this area out too. So yeah, so I've got a forester here and another forester here who are together planting a bunch of trees in this area. And so these should all be cuttable by my lumberjacks. I think, yeah, I've got 3 lumberjacks working up here. So my logs are really low right now, but we're gonna start filling that stock up again. So I think that is what is slowing down this inventor. But okay, good. We've got just enough. But now we need to... Can this be reached? Okay, yes, it is being built, I think. Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So you just got to finish building the path. Come on, little guys. You can do it. We just need more planks. We don't have any planks. How is our lumber mill going? Slowly making planks. We'll get there. Just one more step, and then we'll have another inventor. We'll be getting science at twice the rate. In the meantime, though, let's have a look at our potatoes. So notice I've got half as many potatoes, the raw potatoes. But the cooked potatoes, you don't see any cooked potatoes. That's for a reason. That's because the beavers will eat your food in order of quality. So first they will eat potatoes. Actually, first they'll eat bread. Then they'll eat potatoes, then they'll eat carrots, then they'll eat berries. So you see, look, the baker, or the griller, is turning these raw potatoes into grilled potatoes. And so the grilled potatoes are going up, but each night, my beavers are going to come and they're going to eat all of these potatoes. But you can see here, their nutrition, number 2, is filled up. So they're getting to eat potatoes, and that's making them happy. So that like it elevates me to a higher level. And I've already unlocked the iron teeth, but the way I unlocked them was I had to get well-being to 8 with these guys. And so this is sort of the overall meta level progression of the game, is you have to find a way to make each faction of beavers successful enough to unlock the next faction of beavers. And once you've done that, it's just kind of up to you how much more you want to do. By the way, let's note that my levee over here is finally done. So I set it up so it had these little windows in it. These are just regular dams that can dump water out. So I I put a few of them on there so that the water could still flow through without having to, like, if you just do levees, which don't let water through, it'll spill all over the land. So you have to let some of the water through. But I put up these levees to retain as much as I possibly could. And so you can see this area that used to flow downhill, now it's flat. And there's a ton of water here. And so when we hit a drought, that water is going to go down to the level of these little windows in the dam and then stop. And we're going to retain a ton of water with these two pumps working in that water. And basically, we're going to be able to keep going like nothing's wrong during a drought. And that's going to be really, really nice. Director Cosmic, I'm sorry that you had a problem with the mission not working the way it was probably intended to work. Missions are probably one of the more, I don't know, fickle parts of our game. It's really hard to get them to do what they're supposed to do. I'm sorry that you're running into that, though. That sounds really frustrating. Hey there, mon prince cyclope. Good to see you. Thanks for showing up. So yeah, so I think that we've already kind of accomplished the main goal that we had for this session, which was to start building up our town vertically and also get into potato land. So if we wanted to move up to the next level of nutrition number 3, we would have to start baking bread. And bread is more complicated. First of all, you need a grist mill, which is a factory that needs power, just like this lumber mill. So we need to set up a grist mill to turn it into flour. And then there's a second step of baking it into bread, both of which have to be unlocked with science. And so that's tough. So we have to do that. And on top of that, we'd have to, of course, devote field space to flowers. To flowers. No, to wheat. And so it's a little bit more, because it has to pass through multiple steps. A lot of it depends on how efficient your transportation network is. And so, there's a lot of things that can make a difference to how well it goes. But, yeah, so, okay, we're at 383 science. And I believe that both of our inventors are well-staffed. So that's eventually going to happen. In the meantime, while we're sort of letting time go by, let's figure out how we want to lay this place out. So what are we going to want to do to build a dam over in this area? So we're going to need to have a satellite. Place, a satellite district over here. And the way that districts work, if you're going to be building one, I'm trying to remember where this is done. Oh, right here. Yeah. So you'll need a district center somewhere over here. We'll have to decide where that goes. And then you also need a district gate. You need to decide where on your path network the boundary is between one district and the other. And so basically on one side, you're going to have a path that's a set of paths that are owned by one district center, one set of builders, and one population of beavers that need to feed themselves, take care of themselves. And then on the other side, you'll have a different population that's independent. So they're all independent from each other. And the reason I'm delaying is because you need to actually set up an infrastructure to pass goods back and forth between them. I could build a second district now, but they would show up here and be desperately thirsty, and hungry immediately. And I could probably handle that, right? Like we've got, berries down here that they could pick. We could set it up so that on both sides of the district gate there is a berry picking thing, so they could feed themselves. I could probably, if one of the first things I build is a water pump down here, then they could get themselves water too, and everything will be fine. But that's a little bit of panic that I kind of don't want to bite off. So rather than do that, rather than risking losing an entire district worth of beavers, which is what I did the first time I played, I kind of want to be a little bit more careful than that. I'm trying to show that I value my beavers' lives. One thing I'm curious about, decorations. How much does this cost? Ooh, for only 20 science, I could get a shrub. You know what? I think that's worth it. So, one thing that you'll note is that aesthetics. I've got 0 aesthetics on these beavers. And that's an important need that they have. They basically want to, at some point during their day, walk past something pretty. So I've got this little one space spot right there. I've got nothing better to do with that spot than stick a shrub on it. And so once the beavers build a shrub there, basically every beaver that lives up in this area and passes by that shrub, all the ones that go past it in order to go to this social space, all those beavers will get their aesthetic needs satisfied. Ooh, okay, we've got one more drought. So let's try to survive one more drought this session before we end it. So here comes the drought. Oh, wait a minute. It's not happening. Oh, it's happening in 3 days. It's not starting yet. What am I doing? So, oh, we can talk about floodgates, though. So right now, I've got this floodgate. It is set to 0.5, which means you can sort of look at it, the water level. It's got this little blocker in there that is halfway up. I can set it to height 1, and that raises it up and blocks the water, so no water gets through at that height. Or I can set it down to 0, and all of the water will freely flow through it. And so that is how you handle things like the dam we're going to build over here. Is you build a floodgate like that, and you keep it up most of the time. And then when you want to release more water, like if once the riverbed dries up and you want to release more water, you take it down a little bit and a bunch of water flows through and fills in this space again. So yeah, I believe my lumberjacks, now that these forests have grown up again, these lumberjacks are starting to make short work of these trees. And this is like, so it's kind of funny. The trees that are being replenished, the forests are being replenished by the foresters, look so healthy and nice. But this, like, tree apocalypse is what's actually going on over here all the time. The trees are just being replenished behind the ones that are destroyed. Director Cosmic wants to know, can there be beaver rebellions and revolutions? No. So in this game, their morale is more like a score. It's not like, keeping track of their well-being here. And notice, a bunch of beavers now have aesthetics satisfied. They're not like, if you get all these down, like now hunger and thirst, and sleep, I think will actually be health problems for the beavers. But everything below that is just gravy. And so this is like your bragging rights. Like everything past the third line is like you showing that you've succeeded in making a nice town. It's like your score. So no, there's not beaver rebellions or anything like that. It's just, yeah, like basically you try to climb that scale. Hearn the Hunter is making Monty Python references since I built a shrubbery. So, okay, so you'll notice that not all the beavers are getting aesthetics. There are 6 beavers that do not pass this shrub during their day. So my question is, which beavers are those? So we've got this little house down here. It's hard to see where that house goes, but let's lower the level a little bit. Okay, so this house goes out here, and so I'm betting that these beavers socialize. Where do they? Do I only have a? I bet that these beavers socialize here, drink here, and work down here someplace, and nothing ever sends them up this route past the shrubbery. So these guys are going to need to have their own shrubbery if I want to get aesthetics to the max. So let's figure out what route do they follow. So like, for instance, I've got this little one tile space here that I think everyone passes by. So this might actually be a better place, might have always been a better place to stick the shrubbery. So let's stick a shrubbery right there. Okay, so now we've got a shrubbery. So the drought has started. So now we should see, yes, here comes the water. So this time our levee is done. And so you'll notice the sheer amount of water we're retaining now under these pumps. So this water here has risk of drying up, but this water here is not drying up this drought. We've got so much of it, and we're not pumping it out very fast. Now, in my main town, the one that I play on my own time, I've got about like 8 pumps here, and they absolutely do pump all the water out during a drought. But that's because I've got like 200 some beavers, and they're feeding a lot of people. Let's see here. Have I missed anything? Oh yeah, another thing that we don't do, Director Cosmic, is wars. Yeah, so these beavers, there are different factions of beavers, but they never exist in the same space at the same time, and they don't get into fights. All right. So the only kind of I don't know if this is an upside or a downside of the game. You can get to a point where your beavers are just successful and they can happily live. Like right now, I could probably just walk away, and this community would continue working just fine for a really long time. I think that over time, the droughts get worse. Just a second. Over time, the droughts get worse, and that could continue to sort of ramp up the challenge on your community. But it doesn't ramp up very fast. And so I think that maybe I'm playing at normal difficulty level. So if I played at a higher difficulty level, it might ramp up quicker, in which case I would have to constantly improve my infrastructure to stay ahead of the droughts. Right now, I don't feel like that. Right now, I feel like it's actually pretty languid. I can sort of relax while I'm playing, and there's not much cost to it. Okay, I'm gonna go see what my kid probably needed. So let's pause the game, go AFK. Okay, thank you for your patience. I needed to send a message to somebody real quick. So we've solved the problem. We're good, and we're almost done with this drought. Okay, so this drought is going to still be 3 more days. So this is a longer drought than we had last time. So we might or might not see these 2 pumps here pump all the water out of the riverbed. We'll have to see if that's what happens. But one thing I should definitely do is raise this floodgate, so that this bit of water here doesn't get pumped out with all the rest of this water. So if I've got these 2 pumps aggressively pumping down here, and especially if I were to add more, they would dry out this riverbed, which would dry up all of the water up here and actually turn all of my arable land into dried out land. But if I keep this little lake here, then this lake will provide water to a big bubble of land around it and prevent that from happening. So, okay. Yeah, so no, Director Cosmic. Sorry that I had to go AFK for a second, but no, the stream is not over. We're definitely going to at least get to the end of this drought, and then maybe we'll start a new session where we start planning our next satellite district. Okay, but it looks like, we have just filled up even more of our storage, particularly our log storage. Our log storage is totally full. So let's make some more log storage while we're here. Let's try to use some land that is not extremely useful for anything else, because yeah, this use of land can be kind of costly. The other faction that I've been playing with lately, they actually have log storage that you can stack things on top of, but not these guys. So actually, okay, since my lumberjacks are over here, Maybe I should just stick some log storage over here in this dried, cracked area where I can't do anything else useful. So now they're going to immediately start piling up a bunch of logs that they've been sort of sitting on for a long time. Oh, you know, Stuff says that they came here for potential State of Decay content, but they might actually check this game out. Yeah, so I try out a lot more colony sims than you actually see me play on my channel, because there's a lot of people, like, with the success of, like, you know, like the critical success at least of games like Banished, you know, and RimWorld. There's a lot of people who are like, hey, we can make one of these. These are really hot. These are really cool. But there's a lot of people who they make colony sims that don't really have a lot new to offer. There's not a lot to sort of differentiate them from the crowd. This is one that really, really does. Like, this scratched all of the itches that I usually am trying to scratch with these colony sims, but it did it in a way that is extremely original and, like, gives me, you know, the ability to build types of things that I traditionally have not been able to. Let me see. Okay, yeah, so these trees are not being cut because they're outside the original range. Murder all the trees. Let's cut them all down. .3 days. So basically we've got the night until the water comes back. And it looks like, yeah, we're doing great. We're retaining so much water. It is just not even necessary to go any further than this, but we're going to anyway. The thing I was saying before I had to go AFK was that basically this game is kind of fueled by your foolish ambition. Like, right now, this community in its current state could sustain itself for quite some time. We were not running out of water. Now, we could face worse and worse droughts and eventually need to expand a little bit, but we're kind of doing okay. The thing that is going to push me eventually to have to, you know, build a stronger infrastructure is just my own ambition. 40 beavers is not enough beavers. I want 400 beavers, and that's gonna take a much fancier infrastructure. So you see, look at this swell of water coming down. Look at that, and it fills up. Oh, it starts the water wheel going again. We're getting planks again, and then we get enough of it filled up that it starts pouring out of those little dam holes. I don't know what to call those, and flowing out over this entire area. In my main game, I've actually dammed up this entire lake over here. In fact, before we switch over, let me actually show you what I've got going on in my other game. So let's just call this one Dam Holes, and let's load up my other game. Not Iron Dam. That's the one I've been working on. Rivermouth. That's the one. So this is sort of the future I'm aiming towards with the beaver town that I'm building right now. Haha. I love all the beaver puns that are coming through the chat. Thank you, Hearn the Hunter. Oh, Stealthy Assassin points out that new lumberyard might actually have ended up on Greenland once the drought ends. I didn't actually check that. I was under the impression that... Oh, no, you're probably right, though. We'll have to see. Anyway, so this is the same map, but way more developed in a previous session. So you can see that not only... So my city center is in the same place as before. And I've still got the same 2 dams, but I've done a lot more with them. I've got a million pumps over here, a bunch of pumps over here. I've built a satellite colony down here, damming up this entire thing so that these pumps always keep running, even during droughts. And on top of that, I've got a bunch of farms. I've got this whole, like, milling operation going here, baking bread, like making flour out of all this wheat, baking bread, keeping all my beavers in bread. And then I've got this other satellite colony up here, which has flooded this entire area, and it's pumping tons of water out of it. I've got this little dam here with a little floodgate that I can sort of raise and lower to release water. And over here, I've got, like, my bread basket, like my beehives and all of my ridiculous farms. And so this area is set up to sort of send food and water down here if they need it, though these guys are also self-sufficient and don't need it. Then I've got this tiny little colony up here that cannot provide for itself. It cannot provide its own water or its own food, but this is up here near these human ruins, which is our only source of metal. So they're basically mining scrap metal up there and then sending the metal down here so that I can use it to build fancy stuff. I don't remember which fancy stuff I needed the metal for, but it was fancy and I built it and it was great. So I've also got these like monuments up here. Every time I click them, the beavers love it. It's the best. But these create awe. So you see, I've filled up way more of my bars than I did in my newer community, but they're incomplete. I haven't filled them all the way because in places like this, this place has got 14 beavers living here that don't get any of those benefits from any of the, they don't get the advanced nutrition. They don't get the awe. They're very limited in what they're able to do. So anyway, so this is where that community could eventually go if we invest enough time and effort into it. But yeah. But looking back here at the dam holes, which is apparently what I've called this community. I don't know what I'm calling them. Come on and load. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. Just waiting for a loading screen. La 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 la. Aha. So this is the same area, way, way less developed. But you can see I'm kind of... Part of the problem is once you sort of figure out what your favorite approach is to a given map, it is kind of hard to do anything else. It's like I'm immediately... Because these maps are all, bespoke, there is clearly sort of a plan, right? Like, somebody planned it out that this would be a really good reservoir up here. One thing I'm actually kind of curious about is what they meant to do with this area. Like, I could clearly dam this up and start pouring a bunch of water over here. It would start flowing out over there, though, so that doesn't seem good. Maybe I want to dam this up. Maybe I want the water to flow here. That'd be great. Like, it would, flow down this way. It would, subvert this place and maybe send water a different direction with maybe a bigger reservoir, and maybe that's valuable. Maybe it's valuable because if I fill it up over here, I can have a settlement that is self-sustaining, with a bunch of water over here by the... by these guys. So, there's all kinds of potential things here. Like what if, if I wanted to get this scrap metal, what if instead of just building a simple levee across here, what if I tried to build some kind of channel to channel water over to this area so that this place could be self-sustaining? Like, so I think if I want to sort of continue to advance in a given map, I have to keep making up weird new ways to manipulate the map to make it worthwhile. But yeah, so there you go. There's, Timberborn. So I think the next time I do a session with Timberborn, and I'm realizing that I'm getting interrupted often enough with, like kids' needs and stuff like that, I probably shouldn't try to continue streaming right now. But at some time in the future, I'd like to come back, do a 4th session, and show the process of building a satellite colony. I think that could be really interesting. So, because I feel like until I built a satellite colony, you haven't really seen the breadth of Timberborn. So, yeah, let's wrap this session up. So, thank you all for hanging out with me and checking out this game. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'll stick a little button right there you can click. If I do that 4th Timberborn session that I want to do, I'll stick a link to it right there. And there'll be other games here you can click on. So click on those. Or if you're watching me live, don't, because this looks like nonsense.